Hi, you are about to do your first signing assignment for me. This lesson has two different assignments. One of them is fingerspelling a sentence. You're going to be fingerspelling the whole sentence. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. We chose that sentence because it has every letter of the alphabet in it, so we can see that you're doing each letter correctly. As you're doing that assignment, make sure that your pacing from letter to letter is nice and smooth and that you're hesitating on the last letter of the word. So if you were spelling a person's last name, you would spell Bob Jones, and you would hesitate on that last B to show the end of that word before you went into the next word. So we don't want you to drop your hand or drop your whole arm in between each word. Just hold that last letter of the word a little bit longer and then go right into the next word. You'll be signing that sentence again in lesson 5. So that doesn't mean you can't get a perfect score this first time through, but if you do get feedback, if there are issues with letter hand shape or pacing or palm direction, make sure you read that feedback so you don't do the same exact assignment incorrectly again. You're also going to be signing 10 sentences for us, and the grammar structures we're focusing on in these sentences, you're going to have both question types, WH questions and yes/no questions. So remember, on a WH question, your eyebrows are down. On WH questions, you'll see the WH word at the beginning, the end, or both at the beginning and the end. Most typically in ASL, that question word is at the end. 99% of the time, people are going to put that question word at the end. They're going to start out with what we're talking about, your vacation, how was it? And that question word is going to come at the end. But it can go in both places. Follow the exact order we've glossed for you on the paper, and then make sure the eyebrows are down for those. With the yes/no questions, the eyebrows are up for the whole entire question. And on a yes/no question, if you're paying attention to your grammar notes, the order of the signs is variable. It doesn't matter what order those signs are in on the yes/no question. But the eyebrows are up for the whole time. Your head leans in. Even if you have bangs like I do and your eyebrows aren't perfectly visible, the eyes open up some and the head leans in. So you still need to do the non-manual with that. You're also going to see the repetitive pronoun. In an independent sentence, the repetitive pronoun might not make as much sense, but within conversation, you would be using that repetitive pronoun at the end of a sentence to say, hey, I'm done, it's your turn. So if you see the repetitive pronoun in the sentence, use it, because we're looking as to whether or not you notice it's there and you're using it. You'll also see some negatives in this first set. Negatives are signs like no, not, and none, and they require you to shake your head. Sometimes they require a non-manual. Sometimes you'll scrunch your face while you're shaking your head to imply a specific emotion. Sometimes you can just shake your head. Okay? As you start off with these, please do not assume that you can just look at the 10 sentences and go to your book and look at the signs in the book and think you can do this. Learning to do signs from a two-dimensional drawing is very, very difficult, because signs aren't two-dimensional, they're three-dimensional. And when you're first learning, it's hard to tell, what does that arrow mean? Is it a double movement? Is it a sweeping movement? Is it actually touching the body somewhere, or is it out in front of the body? It's very hard to interpret those signs. And Rio has developed great lessons for you with video models of lectures where an instructor shows you how to do the signs, and many samples where teachers sign sentence samples for the grammar structures you're going to be using, so that you can see the non-manuals. And as you watch those samples, notice that it isn't just a scrunched eyebrow for a question or a raised eyebrow for a question. It's the entire body. The head leans in. There might be some movement with the mouth. The shoulders might shrug or tilt. All of that non-manual expression gives tone of voice. So we have those two aspects of sign language with non-manuals. We have grammar, what my mouth might do to show something went on for a long, long time, or to show an adverb or an adjective. There might be a mouth movement that you'll learn in higher levels. Our eyebrows will move differently for different grammar structures, but our face has to move also to give tone, to show that we're actually interested in what we're talking about. We need to make sure that we're not like, I used to tell my students they looked like zombies But then I realized zombies actually have facial expressions. Even though they're ugly facial expressions, they're expressions. More than a zombie, it's like a corpse. It's just this dead face where nothing's happening at all, and it's just signs. And if you've ever sat and listened to someone who has a monotone voice in like a 2-hour lecture class, it's excruciating, it's painful. Our voices fluctuate, and the only way we get that fluctuation in ASL is through non-manuals and facial expressions. So please do not think. Early on, you may be able to be successful by just looking at the signs and going straight to the assignment. But as you get further and further, if you do that, you're going to miss very important grammar information. You need to, as you're looking at these sentences, have the grammar notes out that I've asked you to print out in lesson 1. And look, this is a WH question. Let me look at the paper, the grammar notes. What does it say about a WH question? What do the glossing marks look like? How is it set up? We're going to set up the glossing for you for the first 9 assignments. The last 3 or 4 assignments, you are going to get English sentences that you're going to have to gloss out into ASL. And if you don't pay attention to the grammar and the lectures and read thoroughly and analyze the sentences now that are glossed for you, when it comes time to gloss those on your own, it's going to be very challenging. Make sure you notice that the glossing is in capital letters and the glossing marks are in lowercase letters. What we actually sign, we write out in caps, and what we have as notes or directional movements, those things are written in lowercase letters. So good luck with these first 2 assignments. Please pay attention to the directions. You can't just watch that vocabulary video once and think you've mastered it. That's like giving somebody a piece of music and asking them to play it once and then get on stage, or asking actors to read through a play once and get on stage and perform. You have to study and master the vocabulary before you can put it effectively into the sentences, and before it'll stay and you'll retain it in your head so that you can use it in further lessons, or if you see it assigned to you later, you still have it in your head. So please practice thoroughly before you record, and when you are ready, upload your assignment to YouTube and post the link in the scoring tool. Thank you very much.